Hiya friends, Prepared Suburbanite back with you. Well, I got a couple of emails early this morning asking me what I thought of the vice presidential debate last night between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. And I did watch the whole thing. I watched Fox News afterwards for a few minutes, and I switched over to MSNBC for a few minutes just to get what the talking heads were trying to talk about. And I've got some thoughts about the vice presidential debate. So stick around right after this. So here's my thoughts. It's if the debate was a football game, it would have ended in a 3-3 tie at the end of the game. Neither side scored a touchdown, and both sides at least scored a field goal. There was a couple of good moments for J.D. Vance, and there was a couple of good moments for Tim Walz on the debate stage last night. I think if I was to declare a winner, I can't, because it just wasn't really a debate. It was more of a question and answer kind of a session. They didn't debate really anything between the two of them. They got into it a little bit on the abortion questions and things like that, and I think Tim Walz held his own on that. J.D. Vance had some great opening statements, but neither one of them scored a touchdown. There were no questions about foreign policy, what's going on in China, what's going on in Israel with Hezbollah right now. They just didn't get into it at all. The questions from the moderators were slanted horribly, I thought, to talk about the hurricane and equating it to climate change. I think they missed the mark on that one. This was a devastating hurricane, and it didn't have anything to do with the leftist agenda for climate change, whether it was global cooling a few years ago or global warming a couple of years ago, or now it's just climate change, and they can get away with whatever they want as long as the climate continues to change. And it will, and it has, and it always will. So to say that it's there's an equation between the severity of the storm and this particular storm and climate change, I think the moderators were well off base. I didn't appreciate the moderators doing fact-checking against their own rules, but J.D. Vance did take advantage of that and had a really good comeback with regard to fact-checking him on that particular question. But what I'm most concerned about with this election, and I haven't heard it from either side, is what are we going to do with the debt? What are we going to do with spending at the federal level? How are we going to be able to rein it in? They're both talking about expanding this and expanding that, the child tax credit and down payment assistance for housing and all that. Has anybody ever said we need to really get down and curb our spending? It's absolutely necessary if we're going to try to make it. We can't go on like this with however many trillions of dollars we are in debt, and right now the interest on the debt is the biggest expense that we've got. And I just can't imagine how much longer we can sustain this level of tax and spend to make sure that we're going to be here 4 years, 8 years, 12 years from now. It's just, it doesn't seem possible. So I'm very disappointed that neither campaign right now is mentioning what they can do to curb government spending. I'd like to hear what you're thinking. How did you view the debate? Like I said before, I looked at the commentary from the conservative side. I looked at the commentary from the liberal side. And if you go to the conservative side, oh, J.D. Vance mopped the floor with them. And you go to the other side, on the liberal side, and Tim Walz really taught him a lesson. It was, he wiped the floor with him. And I'm getting that kind of feedback from folks in our circle. And it's, if you're Republican, J.D. Vance absolutely, hands down, won this thing. If you're thinking that if you're a liberal Democrat, then by God, Tim Walz is the man. Yep, that's the guy. Very relatable, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But I didn't hear any real substance about what the biggest issue I think we're facing right now is the overspending, the absolutely out of control overspending. I think it's way out of control. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what your experience was with this debate, and let me know in the comments down below. And you be careful out there. This hurricane thing ain't over yet. The death count is now topped 160, and there are still dozens and dozens of missing people. And my heart goes out to all those folks that are suffering through this, whether it's climate change related or not. I don't think it is. But what are we going to do with the future of this country? That's the real question. This is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see y'all on the next video.